We'll get more on that story. Brian Whitmore is Senior Fellow at the Centre for European Policy Analysis. That's a research institute. Thanks very much for joining us on the programme.
Thank you for having me, Lewis.
So these protests have been pretty extraordinary. The pictures coming out of Belarus are quite shocking at times. Put this in a bit of context for us. How unusual is it to have protests like this there?
This is highly unusual. You have had a small contingent in Minsk who would periodically protest against Lukashenko, but nothing on this scale that I've seen. By way of context, we have to bear in mind that Lukashenko has been in power since 1994, so for 26 years. Just to put that in perspective, when he came to power, John Major was the British Prime Minister, Francois Mitterrand was the French President, and Bill Clinton was just starting his first term in as U.S. President. Helmut Kohl was German Chancellor, and Brian Mulroney was Canadian Prime Minister. So he's been in power for a very, very long time.
Well, given that, why now, do you think? Why has this given people, whatever's happened, has given people confidence or perhaps desperation, whatever it is, to come out on the streets and do this?
Well, Belarusians have been historically very politically passive, and the Lukashenko regime has survived on this passive acquiescence. And he has kept living standards for most of his reign relatively high by Belarusian standards. Now, this has been on the backs of Russian subsidies. The Belarusian economy effectively runs on importing heavily subsidized petroleum products and then exporting refined petroleum products. Now, since 2015, Russia has steadily cut those subsidies, which has also cut into the standard of living of Belarusians. Also, Lukashenko's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic has been nothing short of abysmal. He was saying it's nothing to worry about. It's not anything serious or real, nothing that can't be cured without some vodka or a sauna or a good game of hockey, and this is seriously cut into his popularity. So I think the Belarusian people are saying enough is enough right now.
Interesting. And you mentioned the role of Russia. I was interested you say that they've cut the subsidies, because I presume Russia still wants to maintain its influence in the country.
Yes, they certainly do. I mean, there's the relationship between Vladimir Putin and Alexander Lukashenko has been very tense. They personally do not like each other. In fact, they despise each other. But it's kind of this forced marriage, if you will. Belarus is considered very important by the Russians. It's what they consider part of their strategic depth, and that's you can translate that as passive and obedient countries on the western border. Putin has always viewed this relationship as imperial. Lukashenko, on the other hand, has viewed it as transactional. I'm glad to be your ally if only you'll pay me. And this has survived. This tense relationship has survived, but now it's coming to a head. Russia has long sought a military base in Belarusian territory, which Lukashenko is loath to give him.
Right.
And so Russia has turned up the pressure and turned the screws in order to get him to capitulate on this.
Fascinating. And I'm afraid I'm going to get you to answer this in one word, if you can, or ish. Do you think this spells the end, finally, for this regime? Is this a revolution about to happen?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't rule that out. If you asked me for one word, I'd have to say maybe, because I don't like to be in the prediction business. This regime has never been in as tough a situation as it is now. But the thing to watch, even if this regime does fall, which I'm saying is by no means guaranteed, watch what Russia does, because Russia is not going to lose Belarus without a fight.
Brian, great to talk to you. Thanks so much for coming on the programme. That's Brian.
Thank you very much.